Kia ora e te iwi, and welcome back for another episode of AR Plus Bay Chat. I'm Marcus Howie, and I have brought back one of our rugby activators in Owen Hohaia. Kia ora, Owen. Welcome to the show.
Kia ora e te whānau. Thank you, Marcus, for having me on the show today.
Well, we've had a bit of an exciting week, ending with the third of our qualifying tournaments at Maramatanga Park in the beautiful Te Puna district there. And the weather finally shone on us, Owen.
Yeah, absolutely. We've had great weather at the Western Bay tournament, so we're very, very lucky to have great weather. We were hopeful because the night before was pouring with rain, and I'm sure everyone was on the edge of their seats wondering if the tournament would go ahead. But yeah, thankfully we had great weather so the kids could get out and enjoy the day with the tournament.
And that sun coming up over Tauranga Moana around about 7 o'clock as we put our gumboots on. We didn't really need those gumboots. That ground was pretty solid, Owen.
Yeah, absolutely. And it was great conditions too as the weather turned up for us finally for our kids. It was great to see them get out there and actually enjoy some great games of footy.
Exactly. And how good. 27 boys teams, 13 girls teams, 40 teams across the Western Motu coming to play tackle fires from Katikati, Titapuki, and all the little schools in between.
Yeah, well, it was great to see them because by having even some chats with some of the schools and their teams and their coaches, yeah, they were so stoked to be there. A lot of the kids were talking about being at the tournament rather than being in class doing maths, no problem. They said, I'd rather be here at Maramatanga Park playing footy. So it was great to hear them say that.
Beautiful, beautiful. Tino atahua. Hey, let's take a look at the winners from that tournament. We've got a couple of clips there, I think, of the girls and the boys. And there we have it. Golden Sands. They have taken the shield. You were part of the Maryvale girls team that held that shield last year. This year it's heading across town to Golden Sands. So congratulations to the Golden Sands girls, the Western Bay girls tackle fires winners for 2025. And the boys out of Mount Primary School there, they won it 2 years ago. They've recaptured the shield there and become the Western champions for 2025. So well done, Mount Primary boys. And along with 3 other teams from both those grades, will head across to Puaringa Park in 2 weeks' time for Chiefs Finals Day. Looking forward to that, Owen, are you?
Yeah, absolutely. We're going to be, it'll be the best of the best. I've been privileged to see a lot of champions from each of the tournaments that we've been to, from Central Bay of Plenty, Eastern Bay of Plenty, and now the Western Bay champions. And we'll also get to see the champions from also the other provincial unions as well that will be participating at this tournament. So it's going to be very exciting. So it's going to be very, very close. I've already got some thoughts on who may take it out, but it depends on who turns up and comes prepared for that tournament.
Exactly. And you've been out on the whistle in the last 2 tournaments. How have you found that from coaching last year to being the fella making the decisions in the middle?
Well, I tell you what, it's a very privileged experience to be in, having been on one side with the schools, you know, coaching teams and preparing them to be at that tournament, to actually being, yeah, like you said, in the middle and refereeing. It's wonderful to see because I get to actually, you know, not only just ref, but also talk with the teams and some of the players and seeing how they're feeling and how their preparations have been for the tournament and getting to know kids from within our region. So it's been a real privilege for what I've been able to do, and visiting a lot of local schools throughout the Bay region and just getting to know them and their teachers. So it's been a real great experience. So I'm very, very privileged to be part of the Bay and go out and check that out. So yeah, very, very awesome.
Oh, kapai, Owen. And yeah, looking forward to that Chiefs Day in 2 weeks. But also congratulations to the teams that did qualify, but also a big ngā mihi to all the schools that participated in tackle fires, wherever they placed It's just awesome. They're out there tackling away and enjoying the great game we love called rugby. Hey, let's take a look at some of the action that happened last Saturday. Right across the Bay of Plenty Motu. Take it away, Producer Rabs. First of all, here we've got the Baywide Premier Men's. One big result there. Owen, Tauranga Sports, the Raptors, a big score there on the Pāpaka, 77 points to 5. We did say a couple of weeks ago, Rangatawa could be the party spoilers for some of these clubs that are trying to aim for that top 4. But unfortunately, this game really got out of hand with Tauranga running away with a big score there. Grits and Marist, big battle with the Tapuki Pirates. It's a repeat of last year's Baywide final, and that one didn't disappoint. Tapuki Pirates getting the home win by 17 points to 15. Just the 2 points are in it. And whakarewa, they continue their winning run, but the Mount came and said, you're not going to get this easy at your home ground, with whakarewa only just getting up by 21 points to 15, meaning the Marlins headed back over the Maunga with a bonus point in that one. And the boys from Maramonatanga Park, the Soldiers, I salute you. They had the weekend off and put their feet up. Let's take a look at the table there, Owen. Tapuki and Whakarewa, they are right out there, 40 and 38. Greta Maris, they're on 25, and Tauranga Sports on 22. There's your top 4 if we went to finals next weekend. But we've still got a few more games in the bag. Tupuna, 19. The Marlins are on 19. So they're right in there. They're right in the mix. One more win, a loss for the Bulls, or the Knights. We'll see one of those teams slip up that competition ladder. And, of course, the Pāpaka sitting down there on 1 bonus point. Thoughts on there, Owen?
Yeah, well, looking at the top 4 at the moment, any one of those teams, even those that are sitting in the position of 5th to 7th, they, like you said, they're going to be party poopers. They're going to stop the party for any one of those top 4. Again, it's who's turning up on the day. So those top 4 teams can't just sit on what they're at because of the table. Those other 3 can actually push them out, and, and K may determine where they finish off at the end.
Exactly. And again, Tapuki and Whakarewa, they are 90% sure that they will be hosting semi-finals, but they won't want to drop their guard. Looking at those points for and against their 0-2, Tapuki and Whakarewa, they've had some big scores. They're plus 221 and plus 136. So they're right in the mix. We look at Tauranga Sports. They had that big win over the Pāpaka, but then they're only on plus 18. So they're all pretty much played the same amount of games, but it just shows those top 2 teams are able to put points on when it counts.
Yeah, exactly, Marcus. But, when it comes to the final stages, those things don't really matter, eh? It all really comes down to who actually wants it the most on the day. So any one of those teams can really push for that top spot. But yeah, just because you're sitting in top 4 doesn't mean you're going to be staying there.
Exactly. Hey, let's take a look at some of the top point scorers from around the Motu. Jesse Mason Grant, what a hooker. He's sitting there in top spot, knows his way to the try line, 13 tries. He's leading the way there. We work our way down that list there with Barnett on 12, Gunabali on 11, Vera Ali from Whakarewa, another boy in red and black right up there on 9, Arson on 9, Carpenter on 7, Dance from the Marlins on 7, Collier from the Knights on 7, and then there Lathanga from the Raptors sitting there on 5 tries. When we look at the top point scorers there, Carpenter had a weekend off. He's still out there on 110 points from the Pirates. Ruben Vaipor from Whakarewa, he's still rolling his sleeves up and kicking goals on 77. Jesse Mason Grant, well, he's topping goal scorers. There's a hooker in 3rd place on our top points score ladder. Now, there's not too often, Owen, that we would see a guy in the number 2 jersey in 3rd place in the top points on 75, one clear of one of the best goal kickers in the Bay, Junior Matotea, on 74. And then we work our way down that ladder there. any names there. Ollie Curtis from the Marlins, he's there. Just raised the bat for half century of 50. And Tay Craig Runga out of the Pirates on 45, who fills in for Fletcher to kick goals as well. But, making mention there, Jesse Mason-Grant. That's an outstanding athlete there for a hooker to be having that many points. Let's take a look at this week's AR Plus Baywide Premier Player of the Week, and that's gone to one of your old club, Tauranga Raptors, Ben Mead. He kicked goals, he scored tries, the score was 77, but you've still got to kick goals in those situations, you've still got to score tries, and Ben Mead did that. So congratulations, Ben Mead, out of the Tauranga Sports Club, this week's AR Plus Baywide Premier Men's Player of the Week. Well done, Ben. Oh, and we'll get you to rattle off the development scores, and we'll give my throat a bit of a rest.
Again, with Tauranga Sports, with a big score over Rangatawa, 43-28. Then we're looking further down. Greater Maris would be pleased about that. We were talking about them the other day at the tournament, at the Tackle Fives tournament, how they're going through the transition of a new name from the Gurnards to the Knights. So something about being called the Gurnites or something like that. Well, with their premier side being called the Knights, and them doing that transfer, that transition into that new name. So they'll be pleased with that, Greater Marist. And whoa, look at that score there with Whakarewarewa and Mount Maunganui. The Marlins, hey, that's pretty balanced out, and it's evened it out. And with our Blue and Black Army having the bye, so they'll be well rested and ready to go this weekend. But the Marlins drawing with Whakarewarewa.
That definitely doesn't really change their points table. Whakarewarewa, look at them. They're still way out there on 37 points. There must be a good culture going on in that club to have two teams sitting right up there in both competitions. Te Puna had the weekend off, but they still sit in second place on 32. The Marlins, their draw has got them up into third place on 28. The Raptors on 20. The Gurnites there on 20, although Jared Wright doesn't really, I'd say he'd be sticking his fingers down his throat with us using the word Gurnites. I think he still likes Gurnards. Anyway, we're evolving with Brendan McEwen's formula. Te Puke on 13, and the Papaka, well, they've got a few more points in the bank than their Premier Men's side. They're on 9 points. Look at the Colts there. Papamoa, they had a good win over Te Teko 50-15. The Mount Colts got a good win over Taupo 45-24. Tauranga got up over Gretton in the Battle of the City there, 45-31. So the Gurnards, they're the ones still at the bottom. The Colts, they had the loss to the Raptors. And Te Puke Pirates, big win there over their Marist St Michael's, 82-5. What's happening in Eastern Bay, Owen?
Well, Eastern Bay looks like they're doing really, really well on that side of the draw, with Te Teko Seniors just getting over Pārua. So that's a very close game. Always is between those two teams, between Te Teko and Pārua. Opotiki Seniors getting up over Poroporo, 44-29. Matata, just short. Missing out with Waimana taking that game out, 25-19. And Edgerton with a big win. Kipi Ruatoki scoreless with 33-0. And, well, that looks like it's going to be some very close games coming to the final stages of the tournament.
Definitely. And then over to EBOP Premiers there. Whakatane Maris, they had a good battle there with Tāne Atua getting up by 45-24. Opotiki, they seem to be the dominant team here, Owen. They just continue to rattle 50+. They got a big win over Poroporo, 75-5. And Pārua, the Whiki, getting up over Te Teko, 41-0. And Ruatoki, they had the feet up. Probably went bush and went pig hunting. They had the bye. How about this Western Bay Conference here, Owen?
Yeah, I drove past Bay Fair and I saw the Iri gazebo at Arataki set up, and I could hear a lot of cheers coming from Arataki. So, yeah, I heard it was a close battle, and the score results says it all there. So the Arataki men's getting up over ED, close game, 30-27. Papamore falling very, very short to Rangiuru, with Rangiuru 50 and Papamore 14. And the Stags with a staggering score 41 over our whānau at Huria, Judia and Matakana, of course, 41-12.
And just an update on that one, I've been following that closely. There is a battle for that top spot. The Stags, they are 1 point clear of Rangiuru and 2 points clear of Arataki. So this weekend, it is going to be absolute tight in that points race there. We'll talk about that when we go to this weekend's games, but it's a tight top three at this stage in that competition. Over to Central, and it was the battle for the Ty Mitchell Shield, that historic shield that Ports talked about last week. It was sitting with Marist. Rotoiti took it lakeside with a 31-22 win in that battle. So well done, Rotoiti, with Ty Mitchell locked away at your club rooms for a week. Nongotaha, they got up just at Nongotaha Domain, 22-18 over rivals Kokura 18. Waikiti, big win there over the Eastern Pirates, 64-12. And Reparoa getting over near neighbours Murupara, 35-19. And into the women's, do you want to just rattle off that championship there one for us, Owen?
Yeah, I'll find her over on the other side. On the East Coast, Opotiki getting up over our Arataki whānau, 49-20. The Kahu Pirates getting over our Gurnards, 62-17. Te Puna, very strong, over Waimana, 44-15. And the Pirates, oh, well, it looks like they lost by default, with Whakarewa taking the win by default for that day.
Maybe a short on players, that one. And we look at that points table there. Whakarewa, they were out there on 30. The East Coast girls, Opotiki, in second on 24. Te Puna and Kahu Pirates sharing the middle of the table on 20. And then we're dropping back down to Greta Marist on 11. Waimana 10, Arataki on 6, and Te Puke this year struggling at the bottom of the table on the donut. And over to the Baywide Premier Women's, some tight battles here. Nongotaha, the front runners, Ruatuki, brought their game on Sunday, taking it to the Nongotaha girls on their domain, 24-22. So good battle there. The Marlins, they travelled down to Turangi for a bus trip, and I heard it was a pretty good one. And they came back with the beers tasting good, 34-12. And Rangatawa also took a bus trip across the east to Poroporo. Another tight battle in this one too, Owen, 33-23. And I hear the Rangatawa captain got a yellow card. So Gracie, the beers are on you, Gil.
Also like to acknowledge Manawa as well too, Marcus, for making it into that New Zealand's Fern squad.
Yes, very, very good call there. So congratulations, Manawa Rogers, who's made it into the Future Ferns squad there too. So good work. She's just joined us in the ranks of a rugby activator. And congratulations, Manawa Rogers. And looking at their points table, Nongotaha, they've flexed their muscles. They're on 30. The Marlins, they're on 25. Rangatawa, 21. Ruatuki, 12. Poroporo, 10. And back there, the Turangi girls, Tongariro, sit back there on 4 points. So quite a tight race there going on. Let's take a look at the top points and try scorers. Te Urupo Namu Magavi out there on 8 with Liv Richardson and Sapphire Williams just back there. And then we've got the two girls there from Nongotaha in the middle of the table. Asher James on 4. And then we work our way down to Moatane from Mount there on 4, a new front runner in Irahei from Nongataha. She's just joined that leaderboard there. Also in the top point scorers, Sapphire Williams on 42, and then we've got Te Uruponamu Magavi, again a prop at the top of the ladder. So it's a day or a week for the front row club, sitting up there in those top points sections, and then we work our way down there right to the bottom. There's a few players right across the board scoring points. Jess Walden in the middle of the table there, sitting on 31 from the Mount. So yeah, good work there to Te Uruponamu Magavi. Again, it's a week for the front row club. This week's AR plus Baywide Women's Player of the Week, Wahine Player of the Week, out of Nongataha, Danaka Irahei, scored some tries, kicked some goals. Again, she's doing really well and stood up when her team needed her in their tight battle with Ruatoki last weekend. So congratulations, Danaka Irahei from Nongataha Club. This week's AR plus Baywide Wahine of the Week. Congratulations. Let's take a look around the traps, Owen. Some exciting games coming up over the next 48 hours. Before we have a look at that, a couple of Super Rugby games coming up. We don't really like to talk outside of Baywide, but the Chiefs, they have got a battle in hand. They lost the right for a final if they get up tonight or tomorrow night. Thoughts on that one? Do you think how good were the Brumbies against the Hurricanes?
Yeah, it's going to be a big ask for our mighty Chiefs whānau to try and get up over the Brumbies. However, with our Chiefs having home advantage and big fan group and supporters turning up for the game, yeah, the Brumbies, they'd be silly to think they're going to come over here and push over the Chiefs. The Chiefs have had a great season and they're going to really turn to their support to get them over the line. It'll be that will help our Chiefs get into that final. So come on, the Chiefs. And
you're right, they do have a good fan base. The stadium over in Hamilton gets packed out. The support for the players, they get jazzed up. So looking forward to that one. And then tonight we've got those boys from Auckland, the Blues, taking on, and our captain's there. We're Captain Kurt Eklund. He's part of that Blues squad. So we can't forget that we've got Bay of Plenty people across the motu playing for the other franchises as well. He's out there doing the mahi as they take on that Crusaders. Now, we know that the Crusaders haven't been beaten down in that fortress and the Blues will be up against it.
Yes, you're right there. Said that, I think it was the New Zealand Herald who said that they may have 130 games straight down
correct.
there. So, yeah, it's going to be a big ask for the Blues, but they're really starting to peak at the right time. So could this be the moment the Blues actually end that streak for the Crusaders?
And watching the news last night, they did a couple of interviews with Coach McMillan, and he does not like the Blues at all, but he said he'll be keeping one eye on the screen. And he said all the work will be done on Saturday night and hoping that they may have a final back in Hamilton, but he said the Chiefs have to get the mahi done first. So, but as he said, doesn't like the Blues, so he doesn't really want to be backing them tonight. But all will be resolved at 9 o'clock on Saturday night. We'll know who's in the finals, and hopefully our Chiefs will get up for us and keep those finals hopes alive. Let's take a look across the motu now. Starting with the Baywide Premier Men's, I'll test your brains on these ones, Owen. We've got Gretton Marist. They're taking on Whakarewarewa at Gretton Park. I reckon Gretton Park will go to its nickname, the Swamp, after all the rain we've had in the last 48 hours. Thoughts on this one, mate?
Yeah, well, the Knights are going to be pretty hard to beat at home. Always hard to beat again. We've been talking a lot about the support group. Their supporters are very, very hearty. No doubt the Red and Blacks will bring over their whānau as well, and they'll be on the sideline as well. But I'm going to give this to the G-Town whānau, the Knights, and that's going to be another close battle.
It will be a close battle, and Gretton playing on their home patch too, in what will probably be a lot of water. They'll be used to that. Whakarewa, they've come off the pumice soils of their home ground, where it'll be a lot drier and a lot more running rugby. So it'll be a battle up front, but I believe with the Whakarewa forward pack, they'll be up there, they'll outmuscle Gretton, and I think they'll go home with the goodies. So for me, I'm going the other side of the fence with the whānau from Whakarewa, but I don't think it'll be by much, to be honest. So let's go Whakarewa by 5. It might be a Jesse Mason Grant try to win it in the end. Tauranga Sports, they're at home to Te Puna at the what do you call it? The Jurassic Park. So the soldiers, they'll be marching up the highway to take on Tauranga Sports. Thoughts on this one, Owen?
Yeah, again, the domain's a fortress for those guys. Well, any home ground's a fortress, isn't it? And yeah, Tauranga Sports bring it when they're at home, but you can't really write off Te Puna, because Te Puna, they prepare themselves for big games such as that, especially when they're on the road. They like the fierce battle up front. It'll come down to who lays the platform in the forwards for their backs, and that will be the difference, I believe, in that battle between Tauranga Sports and Te Puna. But yeah, for me, I'm going to go with Tauranga Sports on this one, just purely on being at home and also where they're sitting at the moment. So I think they're just going to quietly just edge out Te Puna, and I'm going to give it probably by 7 points to Tauranga Sports.
Yeah, I'm going to agree with you on this one, Owen. I think Tauranga are tipping at the right end of the season. Te Puna running hot and cold, but they're away from their fortress of Maramatanga. So I'm going to go with Tauranga Sports on this one, and I'm going to get them up by 6 in this one as well. So Tauranga Sports for both of us. On to the next one. The Marlins, they return home to Gordon Titchens at Blake Park to take on the Pāpaka. Anything's going to happen in this one. Thoughts, Owen?
Yeah, I think the Pāpaka are due for a big one, and I'm going to go with the Pāpaka on this one just purely because of that reason alone, because they want to get one, and and they'll be feeling it, and they'll be wanting to get this one, even though it'll be at the home of the Marlins. But I think the Pāpaka are going to just slightly edge them out on this one.
Yeah, I think it's time. I hope a lot of the whānau have been there to jazz them on. Saw Mātua Parkinson at the tackle 5s on Wednesday. Hopefully guys like that are getting in behind this struggling tide and just giving them a bit of the heads up, keep going. You're due a win. But for me, I think the Marlins will be too strong. They'll be still trying to make that top 4. And yeah, the Marlins for me. But as I said, Rangatawa can be the party poopers here. And on the day, they can turn up and spoil anyone's party and drink their beers. But for me, I think the Marlins might just get up in this one. And Te Puke Pirates, they get to get a bit of extinguisher on their fire and have the weekend off.
Yeah, I would say that the Te Puke Pirates will probably go watch some of these games and see what it's going to be looking like this weekend. So they'll have the privilege of going around and looking at the draw and going, which game do we want to go and look at? So that they'll be doing some homework, and very rightly so, especially if you can maximize your time, your rest, and using that to do some homework for the upcoming matches.
Speaking of Te Puke Pirates, great to see the legend Matty Wallace out at tackle 5 on Wednesday as well. There was quite a number of rugby legends from across the bay walking around, so it was pretty cool to see Matty Wallace and a few other, Mātua Parkinson, just to name a couple. So awesome to see those guys out and about and supporting our young tamariki. Give us a rundown on this Baywide development there, Owen.
Right, well, we've got G-Town, Greta Maris taking on Whakarewa. Again, at home at the Swamp for the G-Town. Tauranga Sports have got Te Puna, Mount Maunganui battling it out with the Pāpaka, and again, the Pirates with the bye. So, yeah, there's going to be some tough battles in that development.
Into the Colts there, Papamoa, they host Te Puke. The Marlin Colts host Te Teko. Grits and Marist host Taupo. Maris and Michaels are hosting the Raptors in Tauranga. And over in the central there, Eastern Pirates, they are hosting Reparoa. Maris and Michaels are home to Waikiki. Nongataha home to Rotuiti with the Ty Mitchell Shield on the line there. That'll be a big tussle here between the two whānau. And maybe another change of hands for the Ty Mitchell, maybe not. And Kokura taking on Murupara in the Battle of Kuiro Park. Over to EBOP, Owen. Over to you, mate.
Purupuru at home to Waimana. Pārua playing on Pōtiki. And Edgecombe are hosting Te Teko, a whānau from Texas. And Ruatoki have got Matata.
And the EBOP Premier Men, the Whike taking on Opōtiki. Purupuru up against Tāne Atua. Marist are hosting Ruatoki. And Te Teko, Texas, they've got the weekend off. Maybe they could go pig hunting too. And the Western Bay, we just talked about that before. Papamoa taking on Arataki. Now, Arataki will be looking to get the 4-point bonus out of this one so that when they sit down in the sheds at 3 o'clock, they have a chance to take out the Western Bay. But, of course, they're 2 points adrift of the next team, Katikati, who are taking on Eastern Districts. Katikati will be looking they need to win this one with a bonus point. And if they do that, they know they've locked up the Gilby Cup for winning the round robin series and take first spot. Looking over their shoulder, they'll be keeping an eye on Rangiuru if they don't. Rangiuru taking on bottom of the table, Judea Matakana. So Rangiuru will, if they can get the bonus point, the 4 tries, then, and Katikati don't, then it comes to a tie. It'll go back on points for and against. So she's tight there. But Arataki as well, can't count them out in that match. So Papamoa hosting Arataki, Eastern Districts hosting the Katikati Stags, and Judea Matakana are hosting the Boys Forever Rangiuru. So very, very tight table for top 3. All teams will be wanting to score 4 tries plus to nail that top spot. Good luck to all those teams. I'd hate to be in their shoes. What's happening in the Baywide Championship Women's there, Owen?
Whakarewa hosting ATK, Arataki whānau. G-Town looks like it's going to be a day at G-Town, so no doubt everybody's going to be down at the swamp getting in behind the G-Town games. And they're hosting Waimana. Opōtiki are hosting Kahu Pirates. And Te Puna, the Red and Black Army, are hosting the Pirates as well, the Te Puke Pirates.
You just hope that there is some grass left on that field come 1 o'clock Sunday afternoon at the swamp for those ladies to be able to play some good running rugby. Otherwise, they might have to transfer their fields 2 or 3.
Yeah.
And over to the Baywide Premiers. This game is going to be a battle of the ages. Owen, Rangatawa taking on Nongataha. Last year's Premiers taking on this year's side that's been newly promoted and have been setting the bar. Thoughts on this game?
I think it's going to be a tough battle in that one. Yeah. Rangatawa may have the edge just being purely at home at Arataki Park, but Nongataha will be bringing a lot of firepower as well, especially with a lot of youth in their side as well, with a balance of experience in there. But I do think Rangatawa are just going to hold them out because they'll be talking about it a lot and they'll be wanting to take this win so that it keeps them in contention for those final stages. For me, I think Rangatawa are just going to take this one.
For me, I think the Maroon Golds for me. But I think they'll just get up over that one. Let's go 2 points. Comes down the battle of the goal kickers. 2-pointer for Nongataha for me. Ruatoki, they're home to Tongariro. This will be an absolute great game. Battle of the ages. mid-table. I think Ruatoki middle of the table, Tongariro at the bottom, but the Tongariro girls will be looking for their first win. Thoughts on that one, Owen?
Yeah, looking for their first win. Hey, that might be the 5 inches that get them over the line. Because when you're looking for that first win, it comes from the heart, eh? You either have it, and when you're turning up to games and you're wanting that purely on that, yeah, that could get you over the edge. But, Ruatoki are in good form at the moment. So, I'm going to stick with Ruatoki, but I wouldn't write off Tongariro.
Yeah, Ruatoki doing the damage with their ever-impressive front rower, Te Urupona Mugavi. I'd say she'll be looking for a couple of meat pies to add to her try-scoring list already. So Ruatoki for me, I'm going to give them a 15-point buffer, Owen. And lastly, the last game there, Puro, they're hosting the Mount. The Mount girls getting another road trip. Hopefully they take enough beers with them this time. Thoughts on that one?
Yeah, if Jess is in good kicking form for the Marlins, yeah, she's going to pile on the points. So I'm going to go with the Marlins on this one. Jess is going to control that game if she's on form. And, yeah, that boot of hers, I think it's going to add to the total at the end of the game.
The Marlins just finding their form at the right time of the season too, Owen. So, yeah, I'd say they're a full-strength side and they will get up in this one. Nat Delamere back in the wheelhouse for the Marlins as well, adds extra strength to them. So, yeah, Marlins for me, I'm going to go 20+ in this one. Puro be running hot and cold all season. But when you come up against the red-hot Marlins team with the players that they've got, then it's Marlins all day in that one. Again, you're right, Jess Waldron, she gets them off the tee, then those points will start to pile up. Let's have a quick chat about what's been going on with in the refereeing sector. There's been some pretty horrendous stuff going on around the provinces. We talked about it last week as well. Referees being abused, the referees being threatened with their lives, referees' families being threatened. Not a good look. And who would want to ref if they're being threatened, Owen?
Yeah, that's exactly right. For me and being, working in the primary school space, it's okay to be competitive. But at the same time, without referees reffing the games, there is no games. And they've got to remember that our referees, most of them are all volunteers just wanting to get out there with the whistle and get these games going ahead. So, whānau, we've just got to look after our referees, please. If there's a call that you don't like, we just got to respect that. It's part of the game. Nobody's perfect. We all make mistakes. But, we've got to own those too. But at the end of the day is let our games go ahead. Let's enjoy the game first and be supportive. And especially when it comes to our kids too. Just remember, we love this beautiful game, this code. And without our referees, there is no game. It just comes down to it. And our referees don't want to turn up every morning giving up their time and to be abused. I don't think anybody does. Just remember that you got to put yourself in their position. If you got plenty to say, you'll make a great ref then.
You nailed it there. That is the absolute right down packed sentence, Owen. If you have got a lot to say, then you should have a lot to do with a whistle in the middle. Come out and join us in the middle and learn the laws of the game and come out and give it a crack and see what it's like. It's not easy out there. And, we work 5 days a week. Some of us don't have the time to get in the gym and get as fit as we'd like to be. But we get out there, we try our best. And, we don't always get it right. And I know for a fact sometimes I've missed some stuff out there and someone will remind me about it later over a beer. I hear it behind me on the sidelines, but it's never okay to abuse a referee who's trying his or her best out in the middle. So leave the refs alone, respect the refs, and give them a fair crack at doing their job properly. So as you said, without the referee in the middle, we don't have a game. And I do see clubs around the motu putting up posts asking for refs, because there is a shortage in refs as well. I do see there's one up in Ruatoki. I have enjoyed getting up to Ruatoki, and I wouldn't mind going back up there this weekend. But unfortunately, junior rugby's going to cost me some time to actually get up there. So more referees. Contact Jax at BOP Rugby if you're keen to get out there. We do have some courses and some online readings you can do. There's some very good referee coaches out there who give you some advice. You're not left alone. But yeah, just a big thank you to all those referees who get out there for juniors, seniors, women's, premiers. Thank you very much for giving up your time. And as I said, it's not easy, but big praise to you for getting out there, and including you, Owen, doing tackle fives. Thank you. Without you doing that, then yeah, there's not too many knowledgeable people on tackle fives. So thank you. But yeah, I'm going to leave you with the last word, Owen, as we head into the last minute or so of the show.
Yeah, well, kia ora whānau. It's been a privilege if I've had that privilege to come to your child's kura and go through some sessions with your kids. Hey, they're wonderful. It's been a pleasure to be able to go out there. And I'm looking forward to going to visit other kura that I haven't been to yet. So if you see me around, just say, kia ora mata Owen. And yeah, I'll definitely be there to help support your tamariki out in our kura. We've got some great talents throughout the Bay region. Yeah, and good luck if you're playing this weekend. Have an awesome weekend, everyone.
Thank you, Owen, and thank you for coming on the show. Folks, that's all we've got time for as we wrap it up. Take care out there. The weather doesn't look too flash over the weekend, so grab your big rain jacket, get to the sidelines, and if you are drinking and driving, make sure you take the appropriate measures to get home and respect the referees out in the middle. I'm Marcus Howie, and this is AR Plus Baywide Rugby Chat. Noho ora mai. Ka kite.
Ka kite.